You said far more money has been lost by investors preparing for corrections or trying to anticipate corrections than has been lost in corrections themselves. Talk about that.
Well, I think people, they're always worried the market's going down, and it does, as I mentioned. And 2 years ago, they were saying 2024 was going to be a down year for the economy, and 25 is going to be a down year. I mean,
every year.
I think people they're basically. You look dumb in this business. You're terrific in this business. You're right 6.5 times out of 10. Yeah. That's a great score.
Yeah.
Even if you're right 5 times out of 10, if you own Costco or Walmart or I can't even pronounce the video. I'm getting close to being able to pronounce it.
I think you nailed it just there.
But that offsets your mistakes.
Yeah.
You have to have these winners offset mistakes, and that's what we've done for 70 years at Fidelity.
You've never really been big on trying to outguess everyone else on the economy. And you said, if you spend more than 13 minutes analyzing economic and market forecasts, you've wasted 10 minutes.
Yep.
I still quote you to this day when clients call up and they want to talk about the latest labor report or what the Fed's going to do. Tell us, how long did it take you to figure that out? And how much pushback did you get when you said it from people that were economists or focused on the macro?
Well, I don't remember if Fidelity ever had an economist, so we just buy stocks. And
she's here tonight. Okay.
So I'd love to get next year's Wall Street Journal.
Yeah.
I'd pay at least $5 for next year's Wall Street Journal. Know that, and hands off to the people who did The Big Short. I had no idea how bad the housing market was, how bad people had second mortgages, they had home improvement loans. I had no idea. Hats off to them.
Yeah.
But and I'd love to know what's happening in the future. It's not available. So I just deal with what's now, what's happening to used car prices, what's happening to the price of oil. And you look at industries that have gone from miserable to getting better, like Chrysler. I mean, I remember people says, "Gee, you were really good on that show, but how can you possibly recommend Chrysler? It's gone bankrupt." Well, they had $2 billion in cash, and they had enough money for the next 3 years. They weren't going bankrupt. So I think the best stocks I had, I think if 100 people did work on it, 99 would say that's better than I expected. Mm. So I use this for one of our great friends, Joel Tillinghast. I wrote a foreword to his book, and I always said the person that wins the most, in terms of the most rocks, wins the game. And I said, Joel Tillinghast is a great geologist, because if you look at 10 stocks, you probably find one that's mispriced.
Yeah.
Look at 20, you'll find 2. Look at 40, you'll find 4. And that's what we've been doing at Fidelity. We just don't look, we look at everything.
Yeah. You said behind every stock is a company, find out what it's doing. Some of the great stories about your big investment success involve hands-on observations that you had been able to make, living your real life, being in a supermarket, being in a shopping mall, looking at what people are doing.
Yep.
I think that over the years, that idea has kind of been mischaracterized as if you use the product, it's automatically a good stock, which is not what you meant at all. Could you explain the difference between those two ideas and why that's so important?
Well, a lot of people, I met so many nice people earlier tonight, and a lot of them had read my book, One Up on Wall Street, and I had this story about, I had a great investment. My largest position was in Hanes that had these pantyhose called Legs. Most pantyhose are being sold in fancy department stores. This was at the supermarkets.
Yeah.
And people go to a supermarket once a week. They go to a fancy store once every couple months. So this was an incredible success. Incredible success. But then a larger company called Kaiser Roth put the thing right next to it. And it was called No Nonsense pantyhose. Mm. So I went to 2 different stores, about 65 different pairs of No Nonsense pantyhose.
Now, what kind of look did you get from the clerk in the process of that activity?
Yeah. It was an odd purchase, but I spread it over 3 stores. But I gave it out to everybody at Fidelity,
Yeah.
I said, give me some feedback on this. They said, it's not that good.
Okay.
It's not that good.
You said, in the long run, a portfolio of well-chosen stocks and/or mutual funds can outperform the most sophisticated investment strategy. I think there's a cottage industry today, and probably there has been for a long time, of people selling complexity to investors.
Right.
It's one of the best sellers on Wall Street. Just that simple statement, I think,
Yep.
very much is something that most of us would associate with Fidelity,
Yep.
and very much is something that we would associate with you. Why do people need to hear that message today?
What's funny, earlier on, I met maybe 100 people to chat with them, and somebody's in the audience, they shovel chicken poop. Is the person here with the chicken poop in New Jersey? And
Waving
Wherever you are.
at the top, you won't be able to see.
okay.
Congrats.
But he decided to be a serious investor, do hard work. He said he's done extremely well.
Yeah. So do you think that that's still possible today, given how armed to the teeth professional investors are with data and tools and high frequency access? Is it still possible to be someone who, just on a part-time basis, when they get home from work, reads about stocks and makes decisions? You still believe in that?
Well, I'll tell you a story personally. My daughters get me an iPod. This is before the iPhone.
Yep.
And the PC business was terrible. They're selling for $800, making $20. They had a decent balance sheet. The iPod was $200, and they're making $150 on it.
Yeah.
The iPod financed the iPhone. And the company had $300 million in cash.
This is Apple in
Apple.
2001-ish.
I'm not sure.
Right. Okay.
But things change. Companies are dynamic. Something comes along, and things go from terrible, or we use a term more appropriate, crappy, to semi-crappy, to better, to terrific.
Yeah.
Something happened at Apple. And they were now going to make a lot of money. I had no idea. I have a phone on me, an iPhone. But I had no idea what's falling. But the stock easily was a triple, just on that alone.
I wanted to ask you about the modern stock market, specifically the AI boom that's been, for the last 3 years, arguably the biggest driving force. What do you think about it when you watch it, or how involved are you with AI stocks with your own money right now?
I have 0 AI stocks, and
Okay.
I literally couldn't pronounce NVIDIA until about 8 months ago. I am the lowest tech guy ever. I mean, my wife is mechanical, my daughter's mechanical.
Yeah.
I can't do anything with computers, so I just have yellow pads and a phone.
Do you think investors have chased these ideas too far? Are there echoes of the 1999, 2000 era to you when you look at it, or are you open-minded about it and you say maybe this is not going to end as badly as that instance did?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Don't have any idea. I have a lot of stocks I like,
Okay.
not in that category.
One of the things that you talked about in your books was the necessity of not chasing glamorous stocks. Yeah. And one of the things you said you liked the best is when a company got itself into trouble, where it was a salvageable situation, but nobody wanted to be caught dead owning it. One of the examples that you used famously was Waste Management. You said, nobody wants anything to do with this stock. Number one, they're involved with garbage. Number two, everybody thinks the mafia controls it. You made a lot of money there. Do you think that heuristic for selecting stocks that are off the beaten path still works for investors?
Well, again, under my thesis that if 10 people look at it, 9 will say this better than expected.
Yeah.
I don't think people are looking at Waste Management. They just wouldn't look at it. So we have a lot of good competitors.
Yeah.
And they're doing the same work we're doing. And sometimes they're not looking at certain categories of stocks. And what I also found out, I've had companies that were losing $6 a share, and they started getting better. The industry hadn't recovered, but they had certain things, and now they're losing $2 a share.
Right. Still
one
not
cares.
good, but not as bad.
But then they went from losing 2 to making 2, and the stock quadrupled.
Yeah.
What were they doing? They went from losing 6 to losing 2 in a bad environment. Things didn't improve. They were doing something right.
Don't be fooled into thinking just because someone's a professional that they can do better than you or they know more than you. Warren's got a great quote about this. He said, Wall Street is the only place where people take a Rolls Royce to get advice from somebody who took the subway. And you talked about the oxymorons, people that thought they knew everything just because they had proximity to the exchange.
Yep.
And I think you were giving a pep talk to the reader of the book, telling them, don't think that you can't be good at this too. You still believe that?
Absolutely. I mean, I just think people, average people, feel fidelity, that if they work hard, they're careful, and things are not clear. I have a term like in poker term, the next card to turn over. This next card to turn over, I don't know what it's going to be. It could be positive, it could be negative, but 2 years from now, this company's going to be better.
Yeah.
And if the next card turns out positive, buy it. But I think you should buy some now. The next quarter may not be better. I mean, we don't know. But there's 3 things going to make this company have higher earnings in 2 to 3 years. We should own it right now.
Okay. And that you still think that approach is still the way people should be thinking and not think that somebody knows more than them?
Well, I think people tend to concentrate on what's hitting the new high list. Companies in the new high list can go up, but I look at the stocks and they're on the new low list.
Okay. You think
most of them are crap, but some are good.
that style of investing has fallen out of favor in recent years. Do you think it'll make a comeback?
I hope so.
Some call it value investing, some call it bottom fishing, whatever the term is.
Yep.
Okay. You still think there's something there? Well,
we get one of the great managers ever, Bruce Johnson. Bruce, you're here somewhere.
Yeah, Bruce is here. Bruce Johnstone's in the audience tonight.
He's a superstar buying down-out companies with a dividend yield.
Yeah.
Turned around, he worked incredibly hard, did a lot longer than I did. He's a superstar and very thorough and careful and prudent. And just like me, he was wrong, 4 times out of 10.
He's saying 3, only 3. One of the concerns that probably a lot of people in the audience have right now, large cap stocks in general are selling at some of the highest multiples we've ever seen.
Yep.
Historically high, not the highest ever, but in the decile, let's say.
Yep.
So we're selling currently S&P 500, 22 times trailing 12 months earnings. Granted, earnings are growing, interest rates are falling. It sort of makes sense when you think about this being a CapEx boom and low unemployment. There are a lot of justifiable reasons for it. Do you worry about future returns for the investor who puts $1 to work today in the market?
I'll ask somebody in the room, do we run Costco's IRA or Walmart's IRA? This Costco's like at 55 times earnings.
Costco has an AI stock multiple, but they sell paper towels.
It's a great company. But
yeah.
55 times earnings. Ooh. Or Walmart is 70 years old. Sometimes you don't have to be in the first inning. Walmart comes public. You said, gee, it's a little town in Southwest and Southeast. Not sure about them. So 10 years after they went public, the stock's up tenfold. It's gone up 10 places. I missed it. It's now up 80-fold since then. And they copied the Kmart formula. They're lower cost. They went to the big cities. They could kill Kmart, kill Sears. And I had the same example with McDonald's. McDonald's was my biggest position. People said, it's all over for McDonald's. I said, well, wait a second. Why is that? I said, well, how many more McDonald's can I have? Well, I think they can do really well in Europe. There's 450 McDonald's in France.
Yeah.
In France. Germany, 380. There's over 300 in England. There's 300 in Spain. There's more McDonald's outside the United States. So McDonald's went up tenfold after that. People said, McDonald's is done. They just didn't think it through.
Is the message to that the fact that a stock has already been successful tells you nothing about how much more successful it could be in the future?
No, the facts were at that point they had 20 stores in France on their way to 400. They had 20 in Germany. They had 20 in Spain. This was not an idea. They were doing it.
Yeah.
And people were lining up to buy a Big Mac everywhere.
I wanted to ask you about the meme stock phenomenon that took place during the pandemic. From my perspective, and I'd love to hear if you agree with me or not, from my perspective, obviously there were some elements of that were reckless, but the byproduct is we got 25 or 30 million people to open their first brokerage account, mostly people under the age of 30, where the prior generation was very slow to embrace stocks. So I sort of looked at it like it had a silver lining.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that, or do you have a different take?
The market bottom in 82 was 777.
Yeah.
Not 7,000, 777.
The Dow.
Dow.
Yeah.
So we've had an incredible bull market since 82. We've had, 10 or 12 declines, but maybe a few more. Everybody I knew grew up, they were warned, the big one's coming. We've had 11 recessions in World War II. We've never had a big one.
Yeah.
But imagine in the Depression, we didn't have Social Security. There wasn't Social Security. People, when they retired, they get older, they moved in with their family. The family had to cut back on their spending.
Yeah.
We didn't have unemployment compensation. We didn't have the SEC. The SEC did not exist.
Yeah.
Did not exist. There's margin requirements now. 1% of Americans own stocks in 1929.
I don't think a lot of people understand that.
Yep.
The losses were very contained to a small group of people.
But we had an incredible depression.
Yeah. 30%
of people out of work, not enough food, trouble farming environment. It was awful. And people went through that. I've read stories about it. It was grim.
You think we have evolved the economy and the markets to the point where it would be very difficult to repeat the quote-unquote big one?
Well, we've had 11 tests.
11 recessions since.
And no one's ever got worse than 5-6% decline in GDP. There's a lot of cushions now.
Yeah.
63% of Americans own their house. That was not true in the 1920s. People have IRAs. If they're Fidelity, they're not going to panic. People are careful with their savings. The GI Bill allowed people to buy houses, with 5% down, create a lot of people with wealth. Most wealth in America is in their house.
Yeah.
And that was not true in the 20s. People were renting, rent went up. There's so many buffers now that, we had a lot of tests. We had many opportunities to have a big one. And we've had some incredibly bad presidents, some bad Congresses. We've had bad economists, and we've made it through. It's a pretty good system.
I like that message for people who are overdosing on Great Depression content on their social media feeds,
Yeah.
and constantly being fed that as a realistic possibility.